How you doing? I'm Rusty King. Welcome to our show today. We're going to have a great show about empowering people to live the lives that they deserve.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program that encompasses a diverse spectrum of topics important to our community, which we hope will both inform and entertain you. We invite you to sit back and enjoy the program.
Hello and welcome to today's show. I'm Rusty King, your host, and today we have a very special guest who is a Mountain View Chamber of Commerce ambassador, a licensed to heal your life teacher. She has a master's degree in counseling psychology and is also a Reiki master practitioner. Please welcome Anna Marie Sanchez.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to our show. Before we get into the wonderful books you've written and your life, we'd like to go back and just hear about your childhood a little bit. Was it a great childhood? Were there problems early on? Or is it something that you could fall back on as you got older because you had some good influences then?
You know, it was a combination, actually. In retrospect, I look back, and the majority of it was very good. It was fun. We were playing Always Seven Flies Up. I had a lot of friends on the block. We really enjoyed each other's company, and it was a very safe time. It was the 70s. There was a period from 6 to 8 that was very traumatic that would change my life, which took me in a different direction.
So that reoccurs as you get older, and it plays a big importance in your life.
Correct.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But then, too, when we had lunch, you were talking about the wonderful influence your father was and teaching you about the importance of books and things.
Absolutely. My father was big on the academia, but more so than that, it was the knowledge that I was going to gain, the knowledge that I was gaining from those books, and eventually the medicine I was learning from them, the wisdom that I was going to take into my life.
Yes, and you could always fall back on that.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
A good strong point. Now, when you reached your teen years, is this when you started going wild? Or
even earlier than that.
Really?
Yeah, I was about 11 years old when things really started to spiral. And I know that sounds young, but at the age of 11, I thought I had it all together. Okay. And, but things spiraled starting at 11 years old.
Do you think that had to do with some of the trauma you suffered, you were saying?
Absolutely. There's absolutely. I have no doubt, especially now after studying so much psychology and being a counselor myself, I do see how it impacted me.
Could you tell us what that was?
Yes. I was sexually molested from 6 to 8, and it changed my life. It really derailed me and took my self-worth.
Without naming names or anything, would this have been a close family member, or was it a neighbor or things like this?
He actually was someone, him and his mother came to live at our home at my great-great-aunt's house, and they were renting. They were renters.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and he was 14.
So it was under your own roof. Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Correct.
So then you're probably drawn in two directions. One was not feeling worthless, but feeling confused by that happening such a young age.
Yeah.
But then having a good influence from your father. So where did that lead to through your teen years? I know you started running wild.
Yeah, but I always loved learning. I always loved learning. I always loved to read. So I always made sure to be at school. I mean, no matter how many nights we were out partying it up at the beach, drinking, I just made sure to get to class. If I had a final, if I had a book assignment due, a book report, I was going to.
Is that right? See, that's really incredible because people are usually one way or the other. They're very studious or they're very wild and in trouble.
I was both.
Oh, really? I was always one or the other. I never could divide it down the middle as you've done so well. So then, what drove you on to get a degree, your college degree?
My father.
It was your father.
Yeah. He would not let me be. He knew that I was being a procrastinator and quite frankly lazy.
Yes.
But he would not give up on me. He's like, Anna, you can do this. You can do this. And I would go begrudgingly. And by the time you're 18, 19, you have other interests like the clubs and other things. And I just. It was his influence that kept. He never gave up on me, and that he really rode me hard. If I was going to live under his roof, I was going to go to school.
Right.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So you really had the best and worst things at a young age and on through your life.
Correct.
So you got addicted to drugs, I'm guessing,
Yes,
running
yes.
wild with gangs and things like that.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because we didn't refer to it as gangs in our time because we were these were our friends we
Your
grew up
buds,
with.
yeah.
It's like you just don't think about it. Just people that you grew up with in the hood and they're your buddies. But so the word gang to me is like it's so odd. But in retrospect, looking back, going likely any researcher would say, yeah, that defines a gang.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, we can assume you're running wild. There's alcohol, there's drugs and everything, but still, because of your father's influence, you're going to school or you're doing, you're staying up with that. When did you decide, well, I think I can get a master's degree?
I just stayed straight through high school. After high school, I should say, I went to community college. I didn't do so good the first 2-3 years. I mean, I really was straight Fs, but I was making the humble attempt of being on campus.
Yeah. It's funny you hear straight A's so much, but straight Fs, okay. But you kept up, right?
Yeah, I kept going to class.
You knew the importance.
Yeah, and I wanted to do it, but because of the addiction, I wasn't able to, by 18, 19, 20, really stay focused, and the relationships I was having, it's such severe domestic violence, I wasn't able to necessarily focus, but I knew that I was going to stick with it, and eventually I did get those straight Fs, made them to straight A's, graduate on the dean's list, and then went on to get my
That's
degrees.
what's incredible about your story. A lot of people, they lead middle-class lives, and that's wonderful. That's a comfort zone in life. But you are on extremes in both ways. It's so often we hear about someone who's a drug addict, that's all they amount to. They end up either in jail, unfortunately, or dead, or things like that. So it's incredible that you have that story to tell to everyone. Yeah, so now you have. When did you write your first book about this? Was it after you got your degree?
No, my first book was September of last year. I released it September 28th, and it became a bestseller on Amazon.
Is this the book you gifted me with?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to hold it up for the camera and see if they can get a shot of this.
Girl from the Hood Gone Good.
It's fantastic. I love the title, and I read it since we had lunch, and you gave it to me. It's fantastic. It's so well spoken. It's just matter of fact, and it makes good reading in that sense.
Thank you. And book 2 is on the way.
Okay.
As we speak.
And what title will that be?
It's still going to be, like Chicken Soup of the Soul, where it's going to be always Girl from the Hood Gone Good. But after this particular book, it's going to cease being about my memoirs and the workbook and the techniques that I provide, how to get out. And I'm going to go out into the world and start interviewing many people that have managed to survive such severe domestic violence or drugs or whatever the hood was to them.
Sure. So with this one, whereas it talked about your past and then what led you to find books of other authors that you enjoyed and that helped lead you. Yeah. And so the next one will continue from there with other people involved.
Yes, correct.
Interesting. Now, I'm not familiar with this. I'm a little confused. What is the Louise Hay Heal Your Life training, and who is Louise Hayes? I have no idea.
Well, Louise Hay is a positive thought leader. She's very many times referred to as the guru of positive thought. Yes. And she teaches her audience and her students to talk about affirmations to change your mindset. So she's a metaphysician, and she's also into higher consciousness. Okay. So I went and got trained by her students, so to speak, Patricia and Rick Crane, who have been studying with her for 25 years, got trained under them and got the licensure. And the only way to continue practicing is to keep that license and to keep practicing.
Updated. Yeah. So originally, when you were having your struggles and trying to find your way, this was a big influence on you?
Huge.
So then after you realized now that it made you more solid in your psyche, then you're going to take that as a practitioner and help others with it. That's fantastic.
I've done that with every modality I've gone to go get help from. Right. I end up taking it in and going, this would be good to incorporate into my business, into my private practice.
That's fantastic in that, you're like a leader of the tribe. And, I'm serious that you're really helping people after you're getting through. And I know it's an ongoing struggle. It's not like, I'm cured and I'm happy and
it'll never
live
happen.
happily ever after. It doesn't work that way. I know that. So it's just fantastic that you're able to share what helped you.
Thank you.
Wow. So what's the mirror technique? Is this in your book? Part of this?
It's actually Louise Hay's modality, and I'm sure many have used it before and maybe called it by different names. But the whole premise of it is to look at yourself in the mirror, and that's more difficult than you think.
Not a metaphor, actually physically looking in the mirror? Okay.
And look at yourself with the eyes of love.
Yes.
Dropping into your heart. Tapping into your soul.
Instead of just reflecting your weaknesses or mistakes.
Or just put on your makeup or combing your hair. This is a way different technique. You're gonna be still and look at yourself.
Wow.
With love.
Yes.
Try that one. That is one of the most difficult ones.
I can't even comprehend that yet.
No.
It's
When
gonna
I did
take a
it,
while to think.
yeah.
Wow, you can actually do that, huh?
Yeah.
What a great start.
When I first started it, it was very difficult. And it's
Yeah.
very difficult for each of my clients or students when I administer this take-home growth work, I like to call it.
Yeah.
They come back and they're like, I can't do it. So we do it in my office, and it's tough. But once you get past it and you can start looking at
Sure.
yourself, it's amazing. It's an amazing breakthrough.
It would really help you heal. I mean,
Absolutely. To look at yourself with love and not worry about what others think.
right.
Yeah.
Wow, and a way to like forgive yourself of mistakes or past bad habits and things.
And choices, the wrong choices we've made.
Did you escape all of this early life without arrests?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. I won't delve into. I'm just asking because I didn't either. So I was wondering if you got lucky or not. But
No,
there's way.
I've been arrested on different occasions. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I definitely paid
Wow.
the price
Well,
for
like
all
I
of
say,
it.
you're showing both sides of life, and you know
Yeah.
that's important because a lot of people can learn from someone who's actually lived it too. They haven't just went to college, read it in a book,
Gotcha,
and
yeah.
are talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, you've actually been there, so you understand.
I do.
Wow.
I do.
So other techniques might be, self-forgiveness. How do you know you're making progress? What's like the little steps that people could find? It's not going to be, like opening the blinders.
Overnight, it's
Yeah,
not going
it's
to happen
gonna
overnight.
happen.
When you find yourself in a place of discord
Yes.
or sadness, but you're not there as long as you normally would be.
Oh, that's a very good.
Like it would take you maybe a day or two to
Sure.
shift that sense of hopelessness or sadness to, before it would take weeks, months, even years.
So it's not going to just escape you, but it's going to be a lesser durations.
Yeah, exactly. Lesser
Fantastic.
durations. Because you have the awareness now and you catch
Yeah.
the thought as it's
Right.
coming up.
And now you have kind of weapons against it.
Yeah, you have the tools.
Wow. Good for you. Other books or artists that might have made a big influence? I know that there were some listed in your book.
Yeah. Aside from Louise Hay, there was Marianne Williamson,
Okay.
Return to Love, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, Debbie Ford, Secret of the Shadow. I have over 600 books in my library,
Is
in my
that
personal
right?
library. Yeah. Been a ferocious reader since I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, they're like jewels in your life.
Oh yeah, they're not going
right?
anywhere.
You're never going to get rid of them.
No, everything
Yeah.
else has to go. But those books I can't part with them because they're my wisdom, my medicine, the knowledge.
Yes. Wow. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. So now, if you had to sum up your entire mission and career at this point in your life, how would you describe it? What would you say it is?
My goal is to truly help others to get out of a state of emotional pain and to provide them with the tools and resources and the hope and the direction that they can get out of their dark night of the soul, so to speak.
Yes.
I've done it, I've walked it, and I have many, many tools to share with them.
Right.
So it's to inspire and ignite in them that I can do it, the yes, I can attitude.
Right. Good for you. And you've proven it.
Yes.
And as I said a moment ago, that it's a never-ending process.
Correct.
Right? But I think you can live your days on a higher plane because of it.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Wow. Good for you. What would you say, looking back, was the hardest step or the biggest turning point? I guess 2 different questions.
There was a combination, but for me was being stripped of what I believed I was. And
Was this at the very young age incident, or was it relationships perhaps, or addictions?
This was in 2002 when I made the decision to move from in San Francisco where I grew up, and remove myself from the hood, so to speak.
Yes.
And completely be on my own. And so I started to crack because my identity was fractured. I had no identity anymore, as I once knew it and believed it to be. I was raw.
You gave up your home life, even though it was that situation. It's still home. It was a foundation.
Yes, it was what I knew. It was familiar.
A crumbling foundation, but it's still a foundation. And the unknown is frightening. So that was the point.
I was broken open, and that's what was needed to be able to rebuild me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're very strong, I think, even when you're making mistakes. They were strong mistakes.
Oh yeah.
So now on the other side of the coin.
If I was going to do it, I was going to do it wrong.
Yeah, isn't that right?
If I was going to do it right, I was going to go completely into the light. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Now that you're healing people so well, I remember when we had lunch and you were talking about when you had to rough up some people so well.
Yeah.
It's good that it's turned in a good direction now.
Yeah. Now I use words.
Yes.
Kindness and compassion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're a wonderful asset to the community and
Thank
everything.
you.
Culturally, in your background, are you Latin or
Spanish and Italian.
So might there have been some spirituality in your ancestors?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Come from
wow.
a family of mediums.
See, and you're
Yeah.
carrying that on.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just my whole family is very, very spiritual. The women in the family that's in Guatemala, that's what they do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's very common to be able to have these certain abilities.
Yes.
Yes.
Good for you. Hey, I don't want to just totally jump around, but I have a question I've been wanting to ask because I don't think I got the answer in your book, but Reiki master practitioner. Oh, I don't even know what that is. In fact, when we had lunch, I called it Rashiki, which is chocolate.
Which
from
is pretty,
Berkeley.
though.
Yeah. So Reiki.
Reiki
healing.
is
Reiki?
Reiki, yes. I call it Reiki.
Okay.
Some people say it differently, but it's Reiki. It's when you transmit and allow yourself to be an instrument to be able to transmit the energy, the universal life flow energy, through your crown chakra all the way down through your heart and through your hands.
So is this mental or physical? Is it hands-on healing or is it?
It's hands-on healing.
Okay.
And before it was called Reiki, many traditions have called it laying on of hands.
Oh, I see.
Laying on of hands.
Okay.
It's the intention of the healer to help the person calibrate back to a state of health.
Wow. So there were probably practitioners throughout history and all cultures.
Oh, this is ancient. This is
that
ancient.
right?
It's just being called. It's just being coined different titles. It's our natural innate ability
Yes.
to help another.
Wow.
Yeah.
So along the way, this was an interest that helped you, and so now you're carrying it on.
Yes, I went to go get healings for myself because I had done so much psychotherapy
Yeah.
that I was like, it's working, but it had stopped at a certain point.
Yes.
And I'm like, I need to go below the neck and go into the heart.
Yes.
And I
good.
started seeking out these modalities. And once they start working for me, I'm like, well, I want to learn that.
Yeah.
And start practicing on family and friends. And I had no idea I would end up incorporating into my private practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, if you could sum up to people out there who are watching, who are having troubles like you've had and I've had, they feel overwhelmed by it, what would the first thing you say to them be?
Grab yourself a good self-help book.
Okay.
First thing, because many people are private,
Yeah.
they're uncomfortable. First is you have to have the admittance that there's something not
Yes.
working.
Right.
Admit to
Okay.
yourself that there's something not working, and then reach out. And for many people, it's difficult to reach out to other family members or even friends,
Yes.
or to let alone a counselor.
Yes.
So reach out for a book. Go to the library.
Yeah.
Google it. Go to
Sure.
a bookstore. But in the privacy of your home, admit that there's something not flowing as it should in your life,
That's
and then
hard to do,
reach for the
isn't it?
tools.
Yeah. And perhaps remember that you can get through it.
Yeah.
That other
Yeah.
people have been through it. And
Millions have gone before you and had to
Right.
suffer through as well.
Right.
Yeah. And find out how they overcame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, are there any other practices you're interested in that you haven't tried yet?
Yes.
Yeah?
Sound healing with crystal
Sound?
bowls.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how do they do this?
They take, there's a huge, literally a crystal bowl, and they place it on your body, and they gong it, and
Oh my gosh.
it blasts all the negative energy out of you.
Wow.
I've had it done on me, and now I would like to learn how to do that to others.
That sounds fantastic. You know, I'm a professional drummer, so
Yeah,
know,
you
have
should
the,
try it.
The heartbeat and the eardrum. So I think that really would tie in with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And you feel the healing instantly.
Yes.
I mean, to have the crystal itself, but the vibration, the sound vibration,
yes.
blast into you.
I bet it'd be so soothing.
It was. It was powerful, and then you're blissed out after. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So you've actually tried it now, and you think you might.
Oh, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll be a
Put that on
crystal
the
bowl
list.
practitioner
Wow.
at some point. At
Good
some
for
point.
you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Is there anything I've missed in general about your life or your studies you might want to tell people?
Look out for book 2.
Book 2, what's the title?
It will still be Girl from the Hood Gone Good.
I love that name.
My journey from the depths of darkness into the embrace of light.
And this is where you'll be interviewing other people?
This will be actually interviewing people from the neighborhood I grew up in.
Yes.
And including them
Yeah.
as a collective to discuss truly how, what I left out in book 1, because, you know, you don't know what you don't know. This was my first book.
course.
Now I know.
Yes.
So to discuss really what it was to grow up in such a violent, chaotic background as women,
Yeah.
surviving these physical types of encounters and abuses and the amounts of drugs. And
it must be easy to begin to think at a young age that this is all you deserve in life, or
Yeah,
this
it
is your
was.
lot in life. And to
Well, when
really
you have
overcome
everyone
that.
thinking the same thing, you're in a group consciousness.
Yeah. Now, whereabouts was this? Hell's Kitchen in New York? It sounds like it could be, right?
Yeah, it sounds very much like that.
Yeah.
Actually, in San Francisco.
Okay.
In San Francisco, we used to run around with, let's just say, a bunch of biker enthusiasts.
Sure.
Yeah. And we were just a really tough neighborhood, and there was a blending of neighborhoods. It wasn't just one. It was because the borders crossed each other. So there was a combination of neighborhoods that always connected, and there was plenty of us just taking over the city many nights.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Are there any kind of group programs like where people can come and meet other people, not just like one-on-one healing sessions, but
Yeah, actually, I run a meetup group, and it's called the Louise Hay Transformation Group, which can be found in Los Altos if you Google through Meetup.
is it Meetup, MEET?
UP.
Okay, not
.com.
media.
No,
Meetup.
meetup.com.
Okay. Say that again slowly.
Louise Hay Transformation Group.com. And you go into the meetup, and there you will see all the different classes I have. I offer a lot of different monthly meetups, as well as individual private sessions, and as well as group classes I teach.
Yes. Wow. Well, I think we're down to about the last 2 minutes. I think there's a poem that really influenced you that you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like to read that for us?
Thank you. Yes. Okay. It's by Louise Hay. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole and complete. And yet life is ever changing. There is no beginning and no end. Only a constant cycling and recycling of substance and experiences. Life is never stuck or static or stale, for each moment is ever new and fresh. I am one with the very power that created me, and this power has given me the power to create my own circumstances. I rejoice in the knowledge that I have the power of my own mind to use in any way I choose. Every moment of life is a new beginning point. As we move from the old, this moment is a new point of beginning for me right here and right now. All is well in my world.
Oh my gosh, I want to applaud that.
She's amazing.
Oh, that is fantastic and so helpful and powerful.
Yeah, this book is amazing.
Wow. You know, in reading your book here that you had given me, there was a Rudyard Kipling quote which I really liked, and it was, if we can accept triumph and disaster as the same imposters, then we can rule the world.
Absolutely.
And that's so fantastic. You know, success and failure, it's all the same in reality.
Yeah.
So that made quite a difference for me, realizing that. But what a wonderful, wonderful poem. Oh my gosh, fantastic. I'm going to throw you a little curveball near the end here. Do you have bad days? Does it just come apart and you think, oh my gosh, and you feel like you're back a couple steps?
Yeah, well, I always like to say now, instead of saying I I fell or I failed, I now say I sidestepped. Because I sidestepped.
Oh my gosh,
I didn't
I'm so glad I asked.
fall back.
You're not falling back, you're sidestepping.
Just sidestepping.
Wow, that's the way to look at it, isn't it?
Because the path now for me is so deeply grooved, it's easy to find.
Yes.
And I can get back up. I have my days, I have my hours, I have my weeks. But by 30 days or a month, I'm back on top of things.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the reason I stay down for that amount of time, even as a spiritual healer and a counselor, is because I've chosen to, for whatever reason, lay in my mucky muck.
Right.
But it's a minute that I use my own tools that I tell others to do that I shift.
Right.
So,
wow.
I have the
I
choice.
think even the bad past is still our lives,
My story.
and the life within a lifetime. So it's never going to go away.
Correct.
But you're right about putting those good steps in between.
Yeah.
And go a little bit sideways. It's not going to be the end of the world.
No, you can get right back on.
Wow. Yeah. Last minute thought?
Where they can find me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
They may be putting that under you as you're speaking too, but
All right,
give it
that's
to
fine.
us. Tell us.
The name of my business is Free the Light Within.
Yes.
And people can find me at www.freethelightwithin.com and find out more of my services.
And when can we expect your next book?
October 30th.
October 30th.
There will be a very big launch, and everyone will be invited, and I
Okay.
will send you the details on that.
I know this book is a bestseller.
Yes.
Did you ever think this would all happen in your life?
No.
I bet you did.
No. I just wanted to be a humble counselor,
Sure.
as humble as I could be. You know?
And you wanted to survive, I'm sure. At one point, you really wanted to survive.
Yeah.
And then as you're getting a grip on it, you wanted to help others, be a counselor.
Yeah.
And now look where it's led.
This is bigger than me. The calling is
Yes.
way bigger than me.
Yes.
I'm being led, and the
Right.
doors are opening, and I'm just walking through them.
I think you're absolutely unique in today's world. I really do.
Thank you.
For what you've been through, for where you're helping people, taking them to. And it's all very realistic, too. You know?
Thanks.
Well, I'm going to say thank you for being with us. I
Thank
learned
you,
so
Rusty.
much, and you're a wonderful young lady. So I'm going to wrap up the show.
Okay.
This has been Ana Maria Sanchez, and I don't need to list her credits anymore because we all know. Watch for her book currently and her new book coming out. Watch for future television shows. And thank you for watching The Better Part. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again.